We shine, we grow. Decided to do a rare long form video today, self-care Sundays. And today was an interesting day. Thanks to my wife, shout out to her for kind of helping me not to go into one of my patterns of over resting today, because I was about to just take a nap, but instead we ended up going out on a cool date. Checked out this faux place after lots of deliberation and lots of places, because man, in Austin there's so many options. It's so many cool mom and pop shops and just unique places, and got to kind of peruse the city a little bit. And it was beautiful, just getting out and seeing everything. And also, I made sure to do some of my practices today, which is, just grounding, putting my feet in the sand. And I mean, well, not in the sand, but in the grass, in the dirt, whatever you have available to you, I recommend you do it. Right now we are in a season of life where it's not enough to know, but it's about doing what you know in your actual life. So, if you know that meditating helps you regulate your nervous system, then you need to be meditating. If you know grounding helps you regulate yourself, then you need to ground. If you know reading a book, getting out in nature, whatever these things are, don't neglect to actually put the work in, because it's not really work in the sense of like labor, but it's work in the sense of helping your inner self get the nourishment, get the peace, get the joy, get those things flowing. One thing I've implemented recently is just shaking. I know it sounds crazy, and I don't mean like just literally just sitting there and shaking, but you can move your arms, move your legs, shake yourself out for an extended period of time, at least 30 seconds, 60 seconds. All of these things they might seem like they're not doing much, but trust me, it's just like exercise. If you go to the gym one day out the week and that's all you're doing, you're not going to really see results. But if you go 3, you'll start to see some pretty decent results. If you go 4, you'll see even better. If you do something every day in that athletic realm, whether you can make it to the gym or not, then you'll start to see those results a lot quicker. So, don't neglect your one-off times of doing these things, or just starting the process one day and then committing to it for a long period of time, because self-care is not a one-day thing. Even though I call it self-care Sundays, you can still have some certain practices. Like for myself, I was able to take a bath today. Hadn't really taken a bath since I had moved into this new house, so that was my first time doing so. But man, I felt so relaxed after, and I still feel that relaxation hours later. So don't neglect these things. Don't think that just because you've done it before and it didn't really have a certain effect, or you did it a month ago, you did it a week ago, whatever, like keep it current in your life, keep it current in your present day, and just watch those results come into your life and actually help you to get into the states. Because the whole purpose is really, you want to be able to get that nervous system calm, get your inner world, your mind, calm, so that you are able to go and perform the things that you want to perform in your life, like whether it be going to work and doing your job a little bit better with a little bit more presence, being more present for your children, being more present for your spouse or your significant other, whatever the case may be, your friends. You want to be here now. You want to enjoy your life, because the truth of the matter is we all are in our own little universe every day. We could be in the same place and be in a whole different paradigm at the same time. So, you are responsible for your own in that regard. And doing the practices, don't feel like because maybe you haven't started or you haven't done the things that you can't get there. It's simple as just centering yourself. Even right now, I could kind of feel myself speaking a little faster. I could slow myself down and just that one slowing down of my breath, and that slow breath out brought so much peace into my being in that moment, like that. Even now I feel more peaceful as I'm speaking, just because I stopped and took that breath. You understand? So you don't have to worry about where you are right now. Understand that the present is always a gift, and the moment that you decide to do something about your present moment is the moment that things can shift for you, things can change for you, and you can start to operate in a more peaceful state, in a more pleasant place. So again, I'm not gonna talk your head off for a change. I actually have some B-roll today, so you're not just seeing me sitting here on the screen talking, even though you will see me time in and time out. I just wanted to kind of show you some of the highlights of my day today. Even though our car broke down actually, and we're still gonna have to figure out how to handle that, but we were able to get a rental, and it was a 2026, so it's like I'm counting the blessings, I'm looking at the good things, and I got to experience a new vehicle today. I got to smell that new car smell, to prepare myself for when we do get a new car, probably in the near future, So it's like, count your blessings. Don't put, attention on the negative, even when the negative's there. Of course, handle things, do what you have to do. I'm not saying to neglect your responsibilities by any means, but don't sulk. Don't allow those negative moments, or those times where maybe things seem to be going left or wrong or whatever. Maybe when you have an argument, you have, things like that. I was listening to something earlier that was talking about gazelles when they're in nature and they're, being chased by like a lion. They're not always necessarily faster, than the lion, but they have, basically ran out of space. Plan to get a new phone soon, so that won't be as big of an issue. Some more space on it. But that being said, basically the gazelles have like reflexes that help them to get away from those dangerous situations where their nervous systems basically go into hyperdrive. Of course, in those tense situations when they're being chased by those lions. But innately, nobody taught them. They don't have YouTube videos. They don't read books. They don't know anything like that. But they shake their cells after being chased by those lions, and then they just go back to grazing as if nothing happened. You know what I mean? So sometimes we can hold years of trauma in our body. There's a book called The Body Keeps a Score. I forgot who wrote it, but definitely look up the title. You'll be able to find it. But that being said, it's so super important that we are prioritizing our inner world, in a world that cares so much about our credit score and cares so much about how much money we have in the bank, and what's your 10-year plan, what's your 5-year plan, what's your plans for the day. There's so many more things that are important. One being, again, how are you doing on the inside? Like this self-care stuff is nice, for your outer self. Of course, it can make you look better, it can make you look younger, right, when you're doing certain things. But like I said, my goal is to help people really be able to regulate themselves and show up as the best version of themselves for themselves, not necessarily just for the world and for other people, but you matter. How you're feeling, how you're thinking in your brain, say those affirmations, but feel those affirmations as you're saying them. You know what I mean? Like, really see yourself as valuable because you are. See yourself as loved because you are. see yourself as important, because you are, you know. But all that being said, I don't want to talk your head off too much. I don't normally do these long form videos, but I plan to do some more as we go. But everybody be blessed, and we shine, we grow.